not get affected by them, I guess. Because a lot of people, like, they're like, oh, I want to be cool, and, like, start hanging with a, or, like, if I say this, you're going to think I'm a bitch. Like, it just takes a bigger person to be more mature, I guess. And then this quote also reminds me of you, Miss Shanlin.
No! I'd like to hear how. Really, I wouldn't, but I would.
Because you don't let other people bullshit, or like when people come and knock on your door, you don't let it affect you, you just don't care. Or like say you're having a bad day, you don't put it on others either.
Oh yeah. You guys have no idea how bad of a mood I'm in today. I've not been asleep yet.
Oh shit.
Yeah. I was laying in bed all night because I'm in incredible pain right now. And I'm in so much pain I could not sleep last night. And my goddamn cats kept wanting to be cuddly. But they're cute, so we let it go. They're adorable. I wonder how much of a polluted stream they've received over the years. I wonder how much of a polluted stream you've received over the years. It surprised me that you said the application was difficult, because that was one I thought would be easier. I thought that figuring out would be a little bit challenging. There's a lot of applications for this all over the place. Let's say that, I just bought a new wetsuit. And the new wetsuit, the one I have right now, I guess it permeates so water can come through it, which means you get more water on you. I just bought a new one that's supposed to be more watertight, so I won't get as much water on me. That's supposed to be good because it keeps you warmer, which means I can use it in colder temperatures. Whatever, you know? I was talking to my friend about it, and I go, well, my real concern is that if no more water can get in, that means water can't get back out, right? He's like, yeah, unless it's semi-permeable. I go, so when I piss in my wetsuit, I'm going to have a lot of piss on me. And he goes, that's your concern? I go, it is. Because when you're wearing something like that, and you pee on it, well, you're going to get piss all over yourself. We can agree on this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's a sponge, see.
Now, let's say that we all take a bath together. Big, giant bath. No, it can't be super big. We all squeeze in there. Small bathtub. And then one of you looks at me, and I look at you rather, and I go, guess what? And you guys are like, what? And I go, I just peed.
You just don't say anything.
Yeah.
The water spills water.
And I gotta say it with a smile, too. What are you all gonna do?
Stay in.
He's gonna wait it out.
I guess.
The rest of you reasonable people, what are you gonna do?
Get out.
You jump out, like, ooh, that's disgusting. Okay. So let's say that rather than being in a bathtub, we're in a swimming pool. And we're still standing kind of near each other. We're kind of like this, let's say. I don't know. And I go, guess what? What? Did you pee again? I peed again. What's with you and pees? Yeah. And then, so of course at that point you guys will probably like swim away and put some distance between us. But you might not jump out of the pool. You might even think like, oh, there's chlorine in here and all that. Now let's say that we're standing in the ocean. And I said to you, guess what? And you guys are, before you even said it, we knew it. You peed, didn't you? I did. I wonder if you would leave. I wonder if you'd swim further away, or if you just kind of stay where you are. So I go, that's disgusting, man. You're always peeing.
They got warmer.
It got warm all of a sudden. Yeah.
I was like, thank you.
What the fuck?
I guess some people pay a lot of money for that, I suppose. Now, if you see that
Why?
you brought it up, man.
I
Now,
know.
there's a market for everything.
Like
Now, what's changed about that? It's not me, it's not the pee, it's the context. From a wetsuit, you're definitely going to, none of you would squeeze in a wetsuit with me probably. You wouldn't fit. We would squeeze into a bathtub perhaps, but that's so small that of course that's, you can't be in that bathtub and not get contaminated with pee. Pool, you swim away a little bit. In the ocean though. All right. So I guess my question to you is, what's the pee in your life? And what's the body of water that you're wading in? In other words, you have to be an absolute sea. You have to be a big body of water to receive even just a little bit of a polluted stream without becoming impure yourself. Think about the influences in your life, the things that as big of a sea as you think you might be, what are the things that are letting the stream in? Yeah, and what effect is it having?
Money. Negative.
My uncle.
Can be negative sometimes.
What's that?
I said money can be negative sometimes.
How do you mean?
Like people say money is the root of all evil, but even money is describe and all that.
Money is the root of all kinds of evil. I'm sorry, that's not the quote. The quote is the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. It's not money itself. It's the love of money. It's not all evil. It's all kinds of evil. How does money lead to evil?
You can get addicted to it. You can start doing some gambling. You can like do some bad things so they can earn more money.
Yeah, or even not even just like illegal things, and not even like things like gambling where you're like you're wagering. It could be anything. It could be business. Before I was a teacher, I worked as a financial planner, and the job doesn't pay any salary at all. It's all commission based. So when you meet with clients and you invest their money for them, you get a percentage of however much you invest. It was an interesting job. I think my best day I ever had was I earned $21,000 in one day. And then that whole week, I earned it was close to $80,000 in 1 week. And then the next 3 weeks, I earned zero, because that's the nature of the business. That's why the compensation is so high. Because if you're good at it, you'll make money. And if you're not good at it, you won't make any money. About 95% of people who go into it don't make it out of their first year. What you found happening was that our hours were long, man. It was like Monday through Thursday. We took Fridays off, and then we were in there half day Saturday, half day Sundays, just doing paperwork and stuff. But those days were long. You found yourself working 50, 60 hours a week. So what would happen is you'd sit there one day and go, oh, I have a client. They can meet with me on Friday. They can't meet with me any other day. You know what? I have the opportunity to make a bunch of money here. I'll go run it on Friday. So you'd find yourself working 7 days a week without even realizing it had happened to you. Why? Because there was a thing about money. That money drove that industry. Everything was about money. There was no talk about satisfaction. There was no talk about making the world a better place. There was nothing there about being soul nourishing. It was just go make a bunch of money. And when you would talk with people in that industry, you say, "How's it going?" And they wouldn't tell you like how their day was. They would tell you how their business day was going. In other words, all conversations centered around that thing of making money. For some people, they dig it, man. There were a couple people there, they dug it. A lot of people burn out of it because it's just not, again, soul nourishing for them. And so you can look at that and realize that there were people who I knew who had families and all that, and that they had like the one day off, Friday, and they found themselves working on Fridays. So I'd ask him like, oh, I remember one guy specifically I'm thinking of. We were there on a Friday, and he was telling me that his family went to Disneyland. They had a Disneyland trip planned. And so he went ahead and sent them off to Disneyland without him because he wanted to go run an appointment. He thought, oh, but I made it up to them. He got them a bunch of VIP stuff at Disneyland. Essentially just threw money at his family and said, oh, I made it up to them. I was just thinking what do I know? But he's got small children. I'm wondering, I wonder if the small children sat there and said, wow, this VIP package is way better than having daddy here. And if they are, there's probably another problem that's deeper than your love of money. And again, the people who were very successful, they had multiple cars, multiple houses. And what's funny is a lot of those people that I know now, they're out of the industry, and they went bankrupt. Because the idea is that the love of money, you have a whole bunch of money, so what do you do with it? You spend it. Which is funny, because what was our job, I told you? To invest other people's money for them. But these guys would get money, and they would spend it all, because you're sitting there and you're just kind of like, man, this sucks. I've worked 60 hours this week. I've worked 70 hours this week. I should buy something to make myself, to make it worth it. And so you just buy stupid shit. And so people would come in all the time with weird gadgets and things. Like, oh, check this out. It's, it's a GPS. Don't you have it on your phone? Well, yeah, but this one's accurate within 1 foot. The GPS on your phone isn't accurate enough. It's within 3 feet. No, but this one within 1 foot. This is like military technology. What'd you pay for that? Like $1,800. And it's just like, and then sure they play with it for a little while, and it goes in a box somewhere at home. And then that means, and then for that, their kids get to go to Disneyland without them. Now, my point of telling you this is that if you went to this business, and your idea was, I'm going to earn some money, save it up, you were surrounded by people who were either failing, most of them, but there was a core group of us who were very successful at it. Now, which group do you want to be part of? The core group that's very successful at it, because you see their money, you see what we had, you see how we bless you.
Thank you.
So now you'll be that small. You might think that you're a big sea, but it turns out you're just a little pool, and you're receiving a big stream. And I'm not saying that what we were doing was impure, but I am saying that that's the influence, though. And so now, you might have gone in with these great ideals of I'm going to make some money, provide for my family, but suddenly now it's not just that. Now it's I need to buy an $1,800 GPS device because my phone isn't good enough within 3 feet. Because you're influenced by that. It's an important. I'll say anyway. It's an important thing to check out what your influences are in your life. I was at the gym last night, and there's a song that we're training, and there's this girl who wasn't training, and so she asked me if she could use my phone to DJ. I said, absolutely. And so she starts playing a song. I'm trying to, what the hell was it? I can look it up. It's on my phone. It was celebrating hodom. It was celebrating being a hoe. And it was interesting because I look up at one point, and all the girls in the gym are like twerking on each other. I'm like, I have never seen them behave like this in the gym together. And I was shocked by this. I was like, not shocked like clutching my pearls, but like, because you come in, we don't treat anybody like anything except for a warrior. But in other words, you get on the mat, you're a warrior. We don't treat anybody any differently. You come in there and then you're acting like that. Why? Because you got 30 seconds of a song that was playing, and then all of a sudden that completely changed your behavior from people I've known there for a couple of years. And you might think like, oh, but you don't know how they are outside the gym. Oh, I do. I hang out with a lot outside the gym. Of course I do. And that was very different. And there were a couple there who were like looking at like they were horrified by this as well. And again, I'm not saying you should or shouldn't do that, but isn't it interesting that it took only 30 seconds of a song to undo 2 years of a reputation? And that's a lot of life. I'll say that again. It took 30 seconds of a song to undo 2 years of a reputation. And what was interesting was that afterwards, some of the guys were standing there, and they were talking about it. So now, how do you think they see those people there? Very differently. Very differently. I wonder. It'll be interesting to see how they treat them, if they treat them differently after this, because they see a different side of them. It's a side that you would never think of it. Like you don't go there. It's not a meat market. You don't go there and look for people. You go there to fight. But now I wonder if that dynamic is going to change. And I'm thinking, wow, that could change the whole dynamic of a gym. 30 seconds of a song could change all that. I wonder, and again, that was a collective seed. I mean, it wouldn't have happened if it was just one of them. It wouldn't have happened if it was just two of them. But a handful of them who can play off of each other, now you see that the influence doesn't even have to be so big. Maybe if it's just you, the influence has to be enormous. But if it's you and a couple of other people, it doesn't have to be so enormous anymore. Suddenly now it can just be 30 seconds of a song, let's say. And I know that a lot of us believe, oh, I can watch things, I can listen to things, I can see things, I can interact with things, and I won't be affected by it. I wonder, are you an ocean? Are you a sea? Are you a bathtub? Are you a pool?
Are you pissed?
Yeah, I don't know. What?
Are you pissed?
Or are you a wetsuit with piss in it? I don't know. You know. But you have to be willing to be honest with yourself. It's like people have asked me why I told you before, I don't drink. I've had alcohol once in my life. But I've told you why. Because if I had it, I would have all of it. I know my personality type. If I started drinking, I would drink all of it. I would go down to Target, and I could do this. I would look at the whole alcohol aisle, and I would probably go, let me get one of each. And I'd go down, or maybe two of each. And I'd fill up 2 carts with it, and then just to go home and try them all. Because all of a sudden, I've been missing this my whole life. Let me try it. I know my personality type. A lot of people think that they know their personality type. And they'll say, that's not me. I can party just on certain occasions. You'll find it bleeds over. It affects other things in your life. If nothing else, it affects how you see the world and how you interact with the world. And if you don't see it, now you realize you really have a problem. Because it clouds your judgment. It clouds your ability to see the world as it truly is. And we're all influenced by the things that we take in. That's how we become human beings. You've been influenced by your families. Yeah, I hope you acknowledge this. You've been influenced by your friends. I hope you acknowledge this. Isn't it strange that groups of friends all dress alike? Or similar, not identically, but very similarly? You think that's just by happen chance? No, it's because you see a style. It's not because people are just followers, We like to say that, oh, they're just following the crowd. You're all following the crowd. All of us are. That's what makes a society a society. That's what makes a culture a culture. There's nothing wrong with it. The thing that's wrong with this when we're following the crowd with things to which we have moral objections. And that's what Nietzsche is getting more directly towards. We'll start to engage in behavior that we reject, that we don't think should happen. But we're doing it because other people are doing it as well. You have to be in a massive moral seat to hang out with the bad kids without becoming a bad kid yourself. But then again, I guess there's a question, what is it about the bad kids that draws me to them? Maybe that should help us acknowledge that there's something inside of us that's drawn towards that. Yeah. And again, that doesn't mean that, just because bad kids doesn't mean they're bad people. Well, it doesn't mean bad behavior. It doesn't mean that we're going to be, I wonder how many of us have ever hung out with a bad crowd and started acting like that. I wonder how many of us hung out with a bad crowd, acted properly, and then the bad crowd started acting properly to imitate you. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. So maybe on incredibly rare occasions. But I wonder, even if we said, that happened to me, I wonder if we'd be fooling ourselves. I don't know. I'm not here to tell you to tell you about yourself. I'm here to just kind of point you in the direction of yourself, hopefully, to think about that. You've got to be a seed to receive a polluted stream, even a little stream, without becoming impure. You have to be a paragon of moral virtue to receive just a little bit of negative influence without compromising yourself. Now, that's just a stream. Imagine if the influences you're allowing into your life are rivers. And I bet a lot of us are. For another time. Questions, comments, concerns, complaints, criticisms, critiques?
That's a good quote.
I like this. One of my favorite quotes.
This is one of my favorite. And by the way, I'm gonna say very different things in the next 2 periods. Because if I told you everything about the quote at once, we'd be here for an hour and a half.
Please.
So I'm going to spread that out over the next couple of periods.